Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Honest Conversations with Mo, the Mo Love Podcast. Uh, Seems like it's been a minute. It is Labor Day today, so I hope everybody's had a good Labor Day weekend and enjoyed themselves in that regard. And I guess kind of getting into this episode. In regards to the concept of multi hyphenate lifestyle and what that kind of looks like in terms of choosing the the life you sort of want to live. And I think we often kind of connect the multi hyphenate lifestyle with having multiple jobs, and multiple different roles. But I think it's more so just really being truly selective in the things you choose to enjoy and that you choose to passionately pour yourself into. Um, and I think when looking at, the different, you know, labels or different, titles that we feel like we have to kind of achieve within, this multi hyphenate lifestyle, is where I guess, it kind of conflates with that kind of, that hustle culture where, you kind of have to go get it, go get it, go get it. But more so in the sense of how does it become something you're striving to become, a better version of for yourself. And I think more so looking at those titles that allow you to become the best version of yourselves. And that ultimately leads you to maybe something later down the line that you weren't ultimately aware of, that you would eventually come to build. Because I think it has to be more so the roles we're in today, and in that sense of accepting what it is today, and kind of navigating in that way in those roles. And how do you choose to adjust, choose to maneuver throughout. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tied to money or be monetary to kind of live that multi hyphenate lifestyle. It's just, as I said, kind of living the lifestyle that allows you to be comfortable to pursue your passions in the best way possible for you. um and then that kind of gets me next into these two ideas of being reactionary versus revolutionary. And I don't think there is, a wrong way of, either being reactionary and kind of being cautious and mindful to change, or being revolutionary and taking on change and being willing to seek out change. And neither one is, as I said, is a bad thing. But I think when, looking at reactionary versus revolutionary, it's which mindset works best for you in, that moment. Because we often have to, be willing to make slight adjustments, make slight tweaks, make slight changes, to the things that aren't working. And then also kind of be able to, be accepting of, what it is we have currently, and kind of working through that and navigating through that aspect. So it's interesting when looking at a reactionary versus, revolutionary mindset, and whether, maybe the best one is, kind of that balanced mindset, the one that is still cautious and is aware of, hey, you know, you're aware of what things cause you to, be outside of yourself, versus where kind of the revolutionary is, all right, these are the steps you kind of got to take to, get to that next step or to that next phase. So I think when looking at those two ideals, it's kind of that combination of the two, instead of feeling like it has to be one or the other. I think really just having that overall balance helps to, kind of offset things. And And also just in regards to being willing to, allow change to kind of come naturally and not necessarily seeking to control it. And I think next it makes me want to look into, this idea of faith in the familiar and how that can sometimes, faith in the familiar can sometimes be, that trap that holds us back because, you know, sometimes you feel like, oh, because you're, good at something that it's a good thing. And, but that often doesn't mean, it's the right thing to do. So I think in understanding, getting outside of, you know, what is familiar, what is, comfortable, what you're so used to, and getting outside of those realms and being willing to try something new, allows you to kind of, seek out something different, and allows you to take you to places that you couldn't imagine. So I think that willingness to get out of the familiarity of things and being willing to do things differently and being courageous enough to continue with with the change, because it's always going to be change, but it's just a matter of how you know choose to adapt and connect with the change as well. Because even for myself, I would say in regards to of late, changes I've made in terms of kind of going more consistently to the gym, and seeing that where I could have felt like, oh, I wasn't seeing, progress or something like that early on for my, days at Chosen One training, and where instead now, those, day to day progress and, putting in that work to, continuously get better and, just having the mindset, kind of push through, and really being aware and being an understanding of, my overall strength and, my different abilities. So, and, just in that sense of, getting outside of, what was familiar for me in that sense. So I think when we allow ourselves to get outside of what we're comfortable and what we're used to, we allow new challenges to push us to, greater heights that we didn't think we were, you know, ever capable of. But it just was a matter of going out and, attempting it and, seeing what, immeasurable heights we could reach. So I think it's just necessary, to get out of our own comfort zones, and get out of what we're familiar with. Because as I said, it doesn't mean it's also what's best for us as well. Because comfortability can get us boxed in as well. And then from there, um, next I want to get into the WNBA season. WNBA is back, after their Olympic break. It's been a whirlwind of a run back. Oh my gosh. Caitlin Clark, she had 30 and 10 a couple of nights ago against the Sky. Angel Reese, what is it? Breaking Sylvia Fowles' record. 400 plus rebounds. I can't remember the exact number. But also shout out to Rakia Jackson being the fourth LA Sparks in Sparks history to score 400 points in a season. It's just showing, how incredible these, rookies have been and continue to be all season. I mean, the Fever, making their way towards the playoffs, as we kind of get to that home stretch of the end of the regular season. So to see how they're playing well together, uh, led by Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, hooping, being a strong presence in the post, and then obviously around the league, everywhere else around the league, Skylar frustrated by her teammates. Where they got to play better. They have a great squad, and then obviously recently added Gabby Williams, to the team, where another shooter, another uh, just overall bucket getter that you add to the team, but just gotta kind of get it together as they figure things out. Teams that have clinched playoffs have been Connecticut Sun. I want to say Liberty. Who else clinched the playoffs and the W? Dang, I cannot remember. But anyways, back to Asia Wilson. I think she had what 40 and 17 the other night, 41 and 17 the other night, and I'm like, sheesh, bucket getter, because Asia's a bucket getter, and yeah, man, just how she's hooping, it's just been incredible. And okay, so we have why they be giving me the league view? All right. So in the Eastern Conference, yep, the Liberty and the Suns have clinched the berth in the playoffs. In the Western Conference, the Lynx, Aces, and Seattle Storm have clinched playoff berths. So I mean, you've got Phoenix, pretty much. I think kind of locked in for that spot. They should be clinching that one soon in the West, and yeah, in the East, I think Indy's pretty much got it locked up for that third spot, and Chicago kind of battling with Atlanta, who's gonna get it. I mean, so for that fourth spot in the Eastern Conference, so it's gonna be interesting. And then just overall, this season's been incredible. Alyssa Tom has continued to have an incredible season. Nafisa Collier, I mean, it's been a fun WNBA season and see the rookies and the records they're setting, and they're setting like fact. Angel Reese is setting a record at the Sylvia Fowles single season record, and the season's not over yet. So it's just imagine of the numbers and the history we're witnessing right now with the WNBA and how the league's going to continue to evolve and grow. And I mean, yeah, it continues to be, dang, it is crazy. I think I heard the stat the other day: 17% of uh flagrant fouls against Caitlin Clark. And obviously, we'll see the rules change. I mean, as it always changes within, every industry, as far as, adapting to, your star. And I mean, we know Caitlin's a star, but there's WNBA has plenty of other stars, let me tell you. So I think once the league kind of truly embraces that aspect, moving forward, it's just going to be interesting. And it's just been fun having the W back. Man, as we get closer to the playoffs, I mean, it's gonna be fun because you got Liberty. Oh man, Connecticut Sun, Fever right now, and I think Chicago got the spot. And then in the West, you got the Lynx, Aces, Storm, and Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix eventually gonna lock that up. Chicago pretty much out of it, and my Sparks pretty much out of it too. But Rakia Hooper, man, Rakia got 400. She up there with Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie, and who was the other Sparks that they had on that? It's Candace, Lisa Leslie, and why can't I forget? Arike. No, Neke Hagamuale. Yep, Neka. Was it Neka? Let me double check that. I don't know if it was Neka, but if it was Neka. Shout out to Neka. I think it was her. I gotta check. I can't figure it out. I gotta make sure. Was it Neka? So I think it's interesting to see how the W's continue to evolve, though. And it's gonna continue to evolve. I mean, the brand deals Angel Reese's got. Shout out to her with the Reese's collaboration. About time, they made that happen. So I think to see that come to fruition, how that continues to evolve, her deal with Reebok. Um, who did Rukia sign as far as brand deals? She had a recent shoe deal. Can't remember. So yeah, fourth player in Sparks history. That includes NECA. I knew it was NECA. It was Candace, NECA, and Lisa. So I was right on that. But yeah, so the rookies are breaking records now, and the rookies that are coming moving forward. like Paige, Juju. Oh man, Hannah. Dang, who's all them others? USC, pretty much all the USC. Dang. Oh, Kiki with Juju. That pick and roll about to be insane. They about to be getting buckets. Dang, it's about to be a fun season with the college women's side of college hoops, college women's hoops, women's college hoops. I don't know proper terminology to use. Who knows? But yeah, man, W's about to be fun. Moving forward about to be fun. So if you ain't on the wave, y'all better get on the wave. And next, moving into the NFL regular season is around the corner. My Falcons. I'm thinking, maybe we'll be at that Super Bowl in New Orleans. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, our whole, offense is not offense and defense, first team offense and defense, have not played all preseason. Yeah, cause for concern. Yes, rusty, of course. But it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, everybody finishes healthy throughout this first game and throughout the season. Um, and first matchup against the Bears. It's gonna be a fun game. Oh, not against the Bears. I'm bugging. Against the Steelers. Falcons play the Steelers. Bears. Who the Bears play? I forget who the Bears play. But Falcons versus Steelers. That defense is gonna be tough. Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt. And then they still got Minka. I think they still got Minka Fitzpatrick. So they secondary. I mean, that whole defense, that offense, a little suspect outside of the receivers. They got weapons though. Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. I think they got Scotty Miller. They got a couple former Falcons too. But and who's their running backs? Their running backs nice. Their young backs are nice too at the Steelers. So it's gonna be a tough matchup. Hopefully offense isn't too rusty. So defense can kind of, I think the defense more than likely, hopefully will have a better day than the offense because I'm expecting the offense to be rusty and hopefully the defense will carry us to the victory on Sunday. And then elsewhere around the league, we got Ravens Chiefs Thursday night. Man, Lamar versus Pat. That's gonna be a fun one. A couple other games. What's the Brazil game? Is it Packers Eagles? Is it Packers Eagles? I want to say it's Packers Eagles. It's Packers Eagles. I'm not certain. NFL. So yeah, it is Packers Eagles in Brazil. Panthers Saints. Vikings Giants. Pats Bengals. Steelers Falcons. I don't know why I said Bears. I was thinking about Caleb Williams. Caleb and Rome should be fun to watch. Don't think we play him this season, but it's gonna be interesting and fun to watch. But yeah, the NFL's back. Um, Dang, NFL's back. It feels like it wasn't gone that long ago, but it's back. New season, new stories. It's gonna be interesting. Dang, Kirko, Bijan. Dang, we got a new offense, so Bijan should be able to cook. Draco should be able to cook. Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Oh man, this is a big year for Kyle Pitts. So hopefully Kyle stays healthy. Kyle can ball out this year. Tyler Algier. Um, we don't have wide receivers. We don't have, the best wide receiver depth. I don't know why Chris Blair didn't make the 53-man roster, but I know he's on the practice squad. So, or make the active. Well, didn't get cut and got practice squad, but I thought like he, had a pretty good preseason. But Casey Washington should be nice as a solid number 5. He played, kind of balled out, so he had a nice preseason. Clearly, hit the rapport him and MPX, had out there on the field, is nice. So, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be an interesting season for my Falcons. Do we see MPX? I'm hoping we don't, just because all the money we pay Cousins. But hey, if it happens, it happens. But yeah, NFL's back. Patty Mahomes Gotta eventually take them down, or they better repeat. We shall see. Is it a dynasty in Kansas City? Only, we can only see, all the quarterbacks getting paid, even though CD got paid, but Dak ain't get paid. So it's gonna be interesting what they do out there in Dallas, the season they have out there. Man, it's about to be a fun season, man. And then of course, getting into next dang, it is about to be a fun NFL season, but getting into next top four and kind of close out, this episode. In the sense of, favorite album of late. Kind of what I've been doing musically of late is just, kind of, you know, finding a favorite art or finding an artist or typing in a random letter, and then just picking from the random artist, you know. And yeah, listening to their discography. Of late, I've been listening to Kiana Lede, Kaylani, just listen to all their discographies. Felix Ames, Section 2, and Zay Woods. I listen to his discography. But yeah, just listening to, different artists, different sounds, just seeing, you know, the Script album was fire. I did listen to that. As far as favorite albums, that album was solid. Finally got around to listen to the Gun album. And listening to a bunch of different sounds. Still listening to my heavy rotation mix. And then just obviously different sounds that pop up into there. TK's new album, listen to that. Who dropped an album recently that I really enjoy? Fireboy GML. That album was solid. But yeah, just listen, a bunch of different sounds. So, favorite show to watch currently. What I've been watching lately, just a lot of Gil's Arena. As far as like that. Any shows I can think of top of mind? I finished Presumed Innocence. That was a while ago. I've been watching of late. I don't know. I can't really think of it. It comes to, 10-Year-Old Tom, 10-Year-Old Tom, Mission Hill, man, animation shows with like the adult sitcom contest, but 10-Year-Old Tom, hilarious. Oh man, top tier show, 10-Year-Old Tom. Yeah, a lot of animations. What else have I been kind of watching? Dang, I was just looking at it too. Big Door Prize, the recent season, it was pretty good. Finishing that up. And yeah, so been watching that. And then kind of, what do I currently have going on? Just continue, take it day by day, as far as, work and everything. This, working out, going to the gym consistently. And yeah, just, all, still going to a bunch of different events, and finding different things to do around the city. And just continue to just, be patient with myself. And, take it one day at a time. And then what I'm looking forward to, the trips is always, unexpected trips, whatever trips, different types of trips that, you kind of have. And then, continue just, different events out there. Continue along, as I said, with the work and, kind of, continue to, adjust with that, and with everything and, continue to, do better and, be better and kind of in the sense of, not necessarily, seeking out those titles, but continuing, as I said, kind of, doing those things that, passionately drive me and passionately, kind of align with who I am. And I kind of, how do I, choose to, embrace that, reactionary versus revolutionary, mindsets and the differences between the two and how, one is needed over the other at times as well. So kind of balancing all that. And, just taking it one day at a time as always. Appreciate y'all for listening. As always, honest conversations with Mo, the Mo Love podcast. And until the next time, peace.